There are times it must be determined if a working relationship is that of an employer-employee or a hiring agent independent contractor. The four factors of control test is utilized in determining the nature of a specific working relationship. The test addresses four key components that determine if the working relationship is truly that of a hiring agent, independent contractor, or that of an employer-employee. The four factors of control are direct evidence of control or direction, or the right to control the worker, furnishing of substantial equipment, method of payment, and the right to fire without liability. Let's go through these one at a time. First, direct evidence of control or direction or the right to control the worker. A true independent contractor should not be controlled or have the ability to be controlled. Examples of control may include a schedule of hours to work, when to take breaks, dictating how or when the work is performed. A true independent contractor should not need to be told how to perform their occupation. They should understand the steps required to perform the work. If the worker is or can be controlled, that is characteristic of an employer-employee relationship. Further, the hiring agent should not train, oversee, and/or direct the independent contractor's work. If control, the ability for control, or excessive direction is provided, the relationship is more likely an employer-employee rather than a true hiring agent independent contractor. Now to move on to furnishing of substantial materials or equipment. A true independent contractor will have the tools, materials, and supplies to perform their declared occupation. Generally, an independent contractor will pay all of their own expenses associated with the job without reimbursement from the hiring agent. If the tools, materials, or supplies are provided by a hiring agent, this is more indicative of an employee-employer relationship rather than that of an independent contractor hiring agent relationship. An employee is provided tools, equipment, and/or materials to perform the project. An independent contractor, on the other hand, will have all of these themselves. Materials are often a point of confusion. A truly independent contractor will provide their own materials. This is most often addressed in a bid. That leads us to the next factor. Method of payment. An independent contractor is most often paid on a project basis rather than based on time. It has been addressed in many court cases. Payment on a time basis is a strong indication of the status of employment. Payment on a completed project basis is an indication of independent contractor status. Payment on a piecework or commission basis is consistent with either status. For an independent contractor relationship to be valid, the hiring agent should not set the pay. The independent contractor should submit a bid for a specific project. This bid will generally address materials, as mentioned prior. The fourth factor to discuss is the right to fire without liability. Both parties should have liability if the agreement is terminated before the end of a project. Generally, if either party terminates the agreement prior to the completion of the project, they are subject to financial liability as addressed in the contract, bid, or agreement. An employee can be terminated without liability. The same cannot be said for an independent contractor. This has been addressed in many Montana Supreme Court cases and workers' compensation court decisions. Hopefully, this provides some clarity in what is used to determine the nature of a working relationship. The following resources will be helpful if you have further questions. Please feel free to contact our office directly. We are a resource for you to utilize in addressing working relationships as well as wage law related issues.